report on non-collection of permanent voter cards by Nigerians. This presupposes that those without the PVC cannot vote, and that those who refuse to collect their voter cards have successfully disenfranchised themselves. Also, Governor Adeboyega Oyetola recently put smiles on the faces of some retirees in the state by presenting bond certificates to them. A report of that event will feature today on Dateline. Dateline will bring you a report on monkeypox, a disease that has just reared its ugly head. How is the government working against the spread of the deadly disease? Stay tuned to this edition of Dateline for it. All this will come your way after the hard news segment of Dateline. Babatunde Bolatito is my name. Welcome to Dateline. First, the hard news segment. As the All Progressives Congress braces up to pick its presidential flag bearer for the 2023 presidential election at its National Congress fixed for Abuja between tomorrow and Wednesday, the Eagle Square venue of the primary election is already wearing a new look, which shows that it is ready to host an event of such magnitude. Timi Tope Abdulkarim is standing by for details.
Commissioner of Police Babaji Sunday has approved massive deployment of officers in and around the city of Abuja to ensure each free APC presidential primary. According to CP Babaji, the police will effect traffic diversions during the primary around the Goodluck Ebele Jonathan Way, behind Court of Appeal, ECOWAS by Women Affairs, behind Foreign Affairs, Cole Mohammed by National Mosque, Benue Plaza, Nitel Junction, among others. Reports said that the event is often associated with a high influx of different calibers of people, especially the politicals, thereby requiring standard security architecture, while registering the command's commitment to the sustenance of relative peace and tranquility enjoyed and a boost in the onward march against crime and criminality in the territory. The CP urged all and sundry to shun all forms of violence during the period in view and beyond. Earlier, Governor Dapo Abiodun of Ogun State, who doubles as the chairman accreditation committee of the APC presidential primary, had led a team to inspect the Eagle Square venue of the primary. It would be recalled that President Muhammadu Buhari had met with the presidential aspirants of the All Progressives Congress, where he told them to consult among themselves and choose a formidable candidate before the party's presidential primary. The president said the meeting was about consultation with party stakeholders to ensure that the unity and cohesion of the APC were sustained and to provide direction.
This demands that our party should become more aware of the changing environment, be retrospective to the yearnings of our students, re-evaluate our strategy, and strengthen our internal mechanism so that we will sustain the electoral success.
Meanwhile, 10 other governors of the APC have agreed to ensure that the party's presidential candidate is from the South. The governors signed a joint statement demanding that the South produces the presidential candidates of the APC. This is contained in a communique issued after the meeting and signed by the governors. By and large, the president charged them to recognize the importance of the stability and unity of the party, which he said cannot be overemphasized. To meet up with Karim, OSBC News.
Nigerian political parties have failed in their responsibility of giving pragmatic political education to the electorate, which is a veritable tool for voters to weigh the formidability of the candidates and sieve the unproductive contestants. A political scientist, Mr. Leko Miami, made the assertion shortly after featuring on OSBC TV current affairs program, Saturday Morning Treat. He speaks further.
We need political education right from the grassroots. Because it is one thing, somebody mentioned that he spent a lot of money before he became a delegate. So, and the primary thinking is that I've invested my money in this, then I should go there to collect money. So when you now leave the political merchants to take over the landscape, then is going to make nonsense of our democratic process. The way out is that we need political education. We people at the grassroots, we should note that once you have invested, these people have invested in you by giving you money, definitely you should not expect anything at the end of the day. So the way out is that radio stations, television stations, clerics, Muslim, Islamic, and everybody, we should educate our people. And political parties, they have abandoned that particular function, and that is political education. In those days, the Awolowos and the rest, they will tell you the essence of education, egalitarian society, this and that. They will educate you about their manifesto. But this time around, instead of educating people with them going by them, they are now giving money and as a result of that, we should seek knowledge first, not money.
The Independent National Electoral Commission has declared that it will no longer store sensitive electoral materials in the Central Bank of Nigeria. INEC Chairman Professor Mahmoud Yakubu disclosed this in Abuja, adding that the CBN will no longer be in charge of election materials, beginning with Ekiti State governorship election. The development came following the controversy surrounding the interest of the CBN governor, Godwin Emefiele, to contest the 2023 presidential election under the ruling All Progressive Congress APC.
No, we are always experimenting better ways by which you can secure the processes. So not necessarily related to what is happening in the central bank. Our intention is always to keep improving and also take complete ownership of the process. Our preference is to take complete ownership of the process.
The National Hajj Commission has announced 2022 Hajj fares to intending pilgrims. NACON Chairman Alhaji Zikrullah Azan made the announcement at an extraordinary meeting with Chief Executive of Muslim Pilgrim Welfare Boards in the NACON Hajj House, Abuja. Report has it that Nigerian pilgrims for 2022 Hajj from southern Nigeria are to pay or above 2 million naira, while their counterparts from the northern part of the country we also pay above 2 million naira. For Adamawa and Borno states, they are to pay 2 million naira, 408, 197 naira, 89 kobo due to proximity to Saudi Arabia. The government appreciates the effort of NACON in achieving the feat on behalf of Nigerian pilgrims. Alhaji Azan added that the commission had requested for more Hajj seats. Therefore, all states are to work with and exhaust the allocation they have been granted instead of waiting for more. The commission reiterated that while visas of officials and pilgrims in the inaugural flight are ready, the states should staff visa processing for all categories of registered pilgrims. Commissioner in charge of policy, personnel management, and finance in the Hajj Commission, Alhaji Nura Yakasai, encouraged states to conclude fund remittance to fast-track Hajj preparations and for processing of basic travel allowances. The state government of Osun remain committed to activities that will enhance and ensure habitable and clean environment in the nooks and crannies of the state. Governor Adeboye Oyetola made this known at a program commemorating this year's World Environment Day. Saeed Adeboye has details.
Today is another World Environment Day, and Osun State was not left behind in the celebration of the significant day. Governor Adeboye Oyetola led an array of dignitaries to the State House of Assembly complex, Oshogbo, where the program held. The governor, who was represented by the Secretary to the State Government, Prince Wole Oyebamiji, noted that the present administration has embarked on flood and erosion control to ensure that residents of the state did not suffer environmental-related hazards. He implored individuals to cultivate the habit of tree planting to prevent deforestation.
Government has spent huge amounts of money in the last 3.5 years on the issue of sanitation, erosion control, and conserving the earth that we live in.
Speaking in the same vein, an APC stalwart, Mr. Shola Oladipo, described the choice of this year's theme, Only One Earth Living in Harmony, as apt and appropriate. Mr. Oladipo implored individuals to keep their environment healthy, as it is the only factor to sustain an harmonious living.
See, we were able to control the flood at the Bodofon River Osun side by the watershed program we did there, planting of the teak trees. And since that time, you can testify to it that the flood has stopped, disturbing the people in the area.
The program climaxed with a symbolic tree planting at the Osun State House of Assembly complex, just as non-governmental organization donated 2 waste bins to the state government. Saeed Adeboje, OSBC News.
Governor Adeboye Oyetola has identified with the people of Oyo at the celebration of the life and times of the late Oba Lamidi Olaiwola Adeyemi III, the immediate past Alaafin of Oyo. Governor Oyetola was represented by his deputy, Mr. Benedict Alabi, joined other serving and past governors, political bigwigs, and monarchs across the nation to celebrate the revered monarch who joined his ancestors a few weeks ago. Governor Oyetola described the late monarch as a strong believer in progressive ideals, who remained true to his convictions over the years until he breathed his last. According to him, Oba Adeyemi was visionary and an exemplary leader whose 52-year reign brought peace, stability, and unprecedented development to the ancient Oyo town and its people. He further stated that the monarch will be remembered for his impact, achievement, and outstanding legacies, and remarkable service as a custodian of the rich Yoruba cultural heritage and tradition. Dignitaries at the event included former governor of Osun State, Prince Olagunsoye Oyinlola, the host governor, Engineer Seyi Makinde, and his deputy, Engineer Rauf Olaniyan. Osun State government has commiserated with the family of Mr. Israel Ajao and the Nigerian Police Force over the passage of the retired Deputy Inspector General of Police. This is contained in the release signed by the Commissioner for Information and Civic Orientation, Mrs. Funke Gbemode. The statement also extended sympathies to the people of Olumana in particular and Osun State in general over the demise of one of the state's finest national icon. It noted that the death of DIG Ajao was painful and a huge loss not only to his family but the nation, as he was committed and an experienced police officer who served the nation diligently and passionately. The statement added that his legacies of professionalism and service to humanity are the pride of the state and a valuable lesson for the younger generation. The government prayed God to grant the soul of the deceased eternal rest and give the bereaved family, friends, and associates the fortitude to bear the loss. Bandits have reportedly killed over 50 persons in an attack on St. Francis Catholic Church in Owo, headquarters of Owo local government area of Ondo State. Apart from worshippers, the bandits also killed passers-by hit by stray bullets. Reports say the attack occurred during the church service. It was gathered that the gunmen stormed the church during service and started shooting sporadically, while explosives were also detonated by the gunmen inside the premises of the church. Reports have it that the injured and dead were rushed to the Federal Medical Center for medical attention. Chief Medical Director CMD of FMC, Dr. Liasu Adeagbo, said many medical personnel have been deployed to cater for the injured persons. Meanwhile, Ondo State Governor Arakunrin Rotimi Akeredolu says the state government will not fold its arms and see perpetrators of early morning attack in the state go scot-free. In a statement issued by the Chief Press Secretary, Richard Olatunde, Governor Akeredolu assures the people that government will hunt the perpetrators down and make them pay for the deadly act. Arakunrin Akeredolu rushed back to his hometown or from Abuja, urged residents to remain calm and do not take laws into their hands. Meanwhile, Governor Adeboye Oyetola of Osun State and the government have reacted to the terrorist attack on St. Francis Catholic Church, Owaluwa, Owo, in Ondo State. Without welcome you to our small segment. Nigeria's Flamingos have qualified for the 2022 Under-17 Women World Cup. We are sorry for the mix-up. Nigeria's Flamingos have qualified for the 2022 FIFA Under 17 Women World Cup, built for India. In the second leg played inside the MKO Abiola Stadium in Abuja, the Flamingos were held to a goalless by Ethiopia to qualify 1-0 on aggregate. After playing 6 qualifying matches, the Flamingos scored 15 goals without defeat and considered none. 3 teams will represent Africa at the 2022 FIFA Under-17 World Cup for women in India, which will run from October 11th to 30th. The 2022 Under-17 Women's World Cup will be the 7th edition, which is contested by Under-17 national teams of the Members Association of FIFA since inception in 2008. It will be the second time that India hosts a FIFA tournament after the men's 2017 FIFA Under-17 World Cup, and the first time that India hosts a FIFA Women's Football Tournament. And now to foreign stories. Kazakhstan is holding a referendum to overhaul the constitution as the Central Asian Tokayev aims to reform the political system after 3-decade rule by founding leader Nursultan Nazarbayev. Voting in Almaty and Nur-Sultan began early this morning and will be concluded later in the evening. It was gathered that the constitutional reform is part of a drive for a new Kazakhstan spearheaded by Tokayev, who was handpicked by Nazarbayev to replace him as president in 2019. It moved to decentralize decision-making and allow greater representation of various groups in parliament, as well as preventing relatives of the president from holding government positions. Tokayev has described the vote as a shift from super-presidential rule that will strengthen parliament and do away with Nazarbayev privileges, including the constitutional title of embassy or leader of the nation. We now go on a short break. Dateline continues shortly. Dateline report packaged by Soya they revealed the extraordinary commitment of Governor Adegboyega Oyetola towards the overall welfare of workers and pensioners, as again manifested with the presentation of bond certificates to retirees across government parastatals. The report by Soya Onoride.
Addressing the pensioners at the local government commission multipurpose hall, the state secretariat at Bere, Governor Adegboyega Oyetola disclosed that his administration is relentless in ensuring the overall welfare of workers and pensioners in the state of Osun. Describing the occasion as 3-in-1 epoch-making ceremony, Governor Oyetola disclosed that over 1 billion naira is being presented to 162 retirees across the government's parastatals, adding that his administration would continue to strive in making life bearable for the citizenry, as well as meeting the yearnings and aspirations of the people across the state.
Today, a total of 1,156,344,000 naira is being released as bond to 162 retirees, comprising school teachers, primary school teachers, local government staff, and those in the core civil service, parastatals, and tertiary institutions. Out of this amount, the sum of 656,304,000 naira is meant for 23 retirees from local government service and primary schools, while the sum of 500 million naira is meant for 69 retirees from the core civil service, parastatals, and tertiary institutions.
The State Commissioner of Education, Honorable Oladoyin Bamishaye, expressed delight that the state remained the only state in the country that has implemented the presentation of bronze certificate for the retirees, adding that Governor Oyetola has transformed education creditably and lifting the profile of education onto a lofty height, just as the head of service, Dr. Olowogoyega Oyebade, reiterated the commitment of the workers and pensioners towards supporting the administration of Governor Adegboyega Oyetola, stressing that a good turn deserves another.
There's a transformation that is going on in education that we need to test out on. It is time to test out on what you have done. You have done wonderfully well, and I need to read out just 35 of your achievements for people to know that you have done so much, Mr. Governor. Number one, reversal of the single uniform policy. Number two, the reversal of the odious 4534 that was causing problems. And the restoration of 6334. Number three, restoration of single-sex schools. I'm sure the Commissioner for Information will thank you for life on that. But we have restored Baptist girls' school back to single girls. Number four, the consolidation of schools that were unjustly merged. We have deconsolidated schools at Odeogun. We have deconsolidated schools at Iyogo. We have deconsolidated schools at Ibewara. We have deconsolidated family and unity that was not.
The miracle of paying pension is still a miracle to those of us that are paying it. When you see a government that is not showing concern about the plight of workers and the plight of pensioners, such a government is constituting a nuisance and is violating the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Section 16 sub 2D of the same Constitution makes pension to be a social right too. So, when you see a government that is not showing concern about the plight of workers and the plight of pensioners, such a government is constituting a nuisance and is violating the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Mr. Governor, as July 16 is approaching, opinions are divided among the retirees and serving officers, including some descendants of Osun State, who is to inherit or have the final say on the family property. From the chorus answers of these people, they are telling the Olori today, Mr. Adegboyega Oyetola, that the family property should be renewed, renovated, and be made useful for the people of Osun.
In their goodwill messages, Comrade Kayode Aliu, Comrade Jacob Adekomi, Comrade Kabiru Adekomi, Comrade Olasegun Lana lauded Governor Adegboyega Oyetola for prioritizing the overall welfare of workers and pensioners since assuming the mantle of leadership in the state of Osun, stressing that workers and pensioners would sincerely reciprocate the good gesture in ensuring continuation of good governance under the leadership of Governor Adegboyega Oyetola.
The event of today, like other presentations of birth certificates, represents the highlight of the contributory pension scheme. In other words, receipts of birth certificates by retirees signals their journey into the league of pensioners. While I congratulate the recipients of today's certificates, I enjoy others on the queue to be a bit patient.
Water of all rally. Workers is there to do water of all rally for the governor. I move that the freedom bank. I move one. Freedom letters come as a final endorsement for the governor. That governor, I don't know that.
This has been a regular ceremony. Issuance of both certificates to me. And so anybody who thinks Mr. Governor is doing this because of the forthcoming election lacks memory. This is not the first time, and we are very happy.
I believe, very grateful, overwhelmed, and happy for the opportunity of being the chairman of teacher in the state and the state. courageous, cerebral, and committed man like Governor Isaac Abuelola is the governor of our dear state. I'm proud to be identified with you and the state and also the teachers are very pleased to have you as our governor.
Also in attendance at the presentation of bond certificates to the retirees were the wife of the governor, Mrs. Kafayat Oyetola, the deputy governor, Mr. Benedict Alabi, the secretary to the state government, Prince Wale Oyebamiji, the chief of staff to the governor, Dr. Charles Akinola, Senator Ajibola Bashir, members of the state executive council, members of the state house of assembly, members of the national assembly, as well as the leadership of the All Progressive Congress from across the state. The ceremony featured the official takeoff of the 65 years retirement age for the teachers in the state of Osun, presentation of bond certificate to the retirees by Governor Adegboye Oyetola, as well as some dancing moments. Sanya Holonide for Dateline.
The permanent voter card is the number one instrument any eligible voter who wishes to actively participate in effecting change in government or maintaining the status quo ante must possess in Nigeria. This presupposes that no one can vote without the permanent voter card PVC. The Independent National Electoral Commission has announced that over 20 million PVC are left uncollected by Nigerians. In this report, Oluchi Amuda examines the implication of unclaimed PVCs to the electoral process. The report.
Nigeria is already in electionary year, and both the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) and the various political parties in the country are intensifying their activities to ensure that all actions taken are in conformity with the electoral law. It is a well-known fact that INEC has increased its sensitization and voter education to the public so as to adequately prepare eligible voters for the task ahead. Similarly, while some political parties have already chosen the candidates that will fly their flags in all elective positions come 2023, others are rather crossing their T's or dotting their I's to ensure they get it right. Ekiti State governorship election is already knocking at the door, while the Osun gubernatorial election will take place in a few weeks. In all these, the role of voters remains key to the realization of sustainable democratic culture in Nigeria, and that role can be jeopardized when eligible voters shy away from their responsibilities to actively participate in the electoral process of voting in the candidates of their choice. The Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) is obviously not comfortable with the poor political participation of some Nigerians, as it raised alarm that over 20 million permanent voters' cards have not been claimed by their owners. The Commission also decried the poor participation of citizens in the ongoing continuous voters registration exercise.
We promise to make public detailed information on collection of the permanent voters' cards nationwide. The Commission has operated on the policy that no citizen can vote without the PVC issued by the Commission and read by the smart card reader.
DATELINE spoke with some Nigerian youth on these developments to know their present status as far as the elections are concerned. Some confirmed that they already have their PVCs.
Well, to cast your votes, to vote for your preferred candidates during elections, I think that's the main importance of having your PVC.
Yes, I have my PVC.
Yes, I have. That was 4 years ago when I voted for the last governorship election in Osun State.
That was 2019. I worked as INEC official then. I was serving.
Some others claimed they have registered but yet to collect theirs, while some are yet to register despite the fact that they are already above 18 years.
Yes, I do. I did it during the third quarter. I haven't gotten it yet.
Because of the rumors going around there, because there are chaos around my side then. So I'd rather stay indoor and save my life there.
No, I will collect it like in this month.
I will when I have my card, or if the voter's card is still going to be on.
I'll have mine.
The electoral umpire INEC is not the only one bothered by the huge number of unclaimed PVCs. The political parties are also not happy with the situation. DATELINE sought the views of chieftains of some political parties in Osun State, including that of the All Progressives Congress, APC, Mr. Kamaruddin Alao, Labour Party, Mr. Adebayo Bello, and Accord Party, Mr. Nasiru Bolarinwa, where they noted that non-participation of such a large number of eligible voters in election could have a negative impact on the outcome of the entire process. They maintain that it is very important for the youth to get involved in taking charge of the direction the country would go in the next general polls. The party chieftains said the coming elections are very crucial for the country, and there is need for Nigerians to elect a president and other leaders who have the capacity to unify the country.
That's what our own party, the APC, have been doing, to sensitize our people that is go out and collect their PVC. Because you don't have your PVC, you don't have rights to vote. So we are now still telling them that they should go out to the INEC offices and collect their PVC so they will be able to go and vote on the day of the election.
We are aware that there are some voters' cards that are lying idle at the INEC office. Even before now, we have been trying to sensitize our members, especially those who have to make new registration, make transfer, or do any other thing with INEC, to go and pick their voters' card, since INEC has announced that the card is ready for collection. So we have started sensitization since.
We can go and tell the INEC officials to kindly help us by taking this exercise to the world level. So that one may be easier for them than to go to the headquarters and queue for a long time.
Now, the question is, do you have a PVC? If you are one of the 20 million Nigerians still keeping yours with INEC, now is the best time to go and claim it, because your PVC is your power. Oluchi Amuda for DATELINE.
The outbreak of the monkeypox disease has once again sent another health emergency among the global community as the virus is rapidly spreading around the globe. In Nigeria, report has it that the viral infection has spread to about 8 states of the federation, and that the federal government, through the Nigerian Center for Disease Control, has continued to create awareness so as to curb the spread. Therefore, government at all levels have reiterated their commitment towards the protection of health of the people through proactive measures. Oluwatobiloba Odunuga takes you through the analysis of the viral disease in this DATELINE report.
Is a double-stranded virus that causes monkeypox in humans and other animals, which belongs to the genus Octopus virus in the family of Poxviride. It is one of the human octopus viruses that includes variola, cowpox, and vaccinia viruses. Monkeypox disease is similar to smallpox, but with a milder rash and lower mortality rate. The monkeypox virus can spread both from animal to human and from human to human. Infections from animal to human can occur via an animal bite or by direct contact with an infected animal's bodily fluid. The virus can spread from human to human by both droplet respiration and contact with touchable surfaces from an infected person's bodily fluid. The incubation period is between 10 and 14 days. Prodromal symptoms include swelling of lymph nodes, muscle pain, headache, fever prior to the emergence of the rash. Report says within the space of 3 weeks in May 2022, a cluster of cases of monkeypox were found in the United Kingdom and shortly thereafter in Spain and Portugal, which were quickly recognized as belonging to a major and still ongoing outbreak of monkeypox. The first recognized case was confirmed on the 6th of May 2022, an individual with travel links to Nigeria, but it has been suggested that cases were already spreading in Europe in the previous months. From 18th of May onwards, cases were reported from an increasing number of countries and regions, predominantly in Europe, but also in North and South America, Asia, North Africa, and Australia. And 914 cases had been confirmed as of the 4th of June. The first week of the outbreak were characterized by a high degree of uncertainty in many ways, as the rapid increase in cases and geographic distribution were highly unusual for the monkeypox disease. Initial assessment by health authorities expressed the expectation of the outbreak to be contained and of low impact to the general population in affected countries. A more recent statement acknowledged that undetected transmission had occurred for some time and called for urgent action to reduce transmission. Monkeypox is a viral infection that manifests a week or two after exposure with fever and other non-specific symptoms, and then produces a rash that can last for a couple of weeks before usually clearing up. However, cases in children are more likely to be severe. To this end, the Africa Centers for Disease Control and Prevention has alerted several members of the African Union in May 2022 about cases of monkeypox. The director of the Africa CDC, Ahmed Ogwell, in a statement maintained that 4 African countries have reported 1,405 endemic cases, with 62 deaths during early 2022 to May 2022.
We have provided guidance to our member states on increasing surveillance for monkeypox, establishing laboratory diagnostic capacity so that it can be easily lab diagnosed.
According to the World Health Organization, the 2022 outbreak has a different pattern of spread compared to prior monkeypox outbreak outside Africa, given the unusually high frequency of human-to-human transmitted observed in this event, and the probable community transmission without history of traveling to endemic areas. Spread of the virus through close contact is more likely, with transmission during sexual activities being the most common route.
Thousands and thousands of cases of monkeypox every year in Africa, and there are deaths every year. And our concern now is real. We have a concern about this disease spreading in Europe. But I certainly didn't hear that same level of concern over the last 5 or 10 years. So I think this is a lesson. These diseases will continue to emerge. They will continue to pressure.
The NCDC reported 6 deaths in 6 different states, making for a 3.3% case fatality ratio, following the recent confirmation of monkeypox resurgence in Nigeria involving 21 persons by the Nigerian Center for Disease Control, NCDC, where it was said to have led to the death of 1 person with comorbidity.
The occurrence of sporadic cases of monkeypox is not surprising and does not constitute an outbreak. But yes, we are worried about monkeypox because, as you know, its closest relation is the smallpox virus. We are worried that it potentially can change from something being sporadic or something that is not very good at person-to-person transmission to something that can give us a cause of concern, which is why we continue to keep an eye on it.
To this end, the federal government has called on veterinary epidemiology officers, field surveillance agents, and veterinarians to step up their surveillance activities aimed at picking any possible case of monkeypox in animals across the country. Speaking with OSBC News on this development, Special Advisor to the Governor of Public Health, Dr. Shiji Olamiju, explained that the monkeypox virus can be transmitted through vectors such as rats, squirrels, among others, not limited to monkeys alone.
Animals have a way of interacting with one another. So a monkey could infect any of these animals I have mentioned earlier. And if these animals I've mentioned about, I mean the rat, the mice, or the squirrel, an adventure, bite human being, or the fluid, the human beings come in contact with their fluid, whether blood, whether scab, affected spots in their body, the person could also contact it. And it will last for about between 2 to 4 weeks in the body. It may resolve on its own, and it may cause death.
Dr. Olamiju noted that the symptoms of monkeypox virus include fever, body aches, cough, pebbles on skin, back pain, fatigue, among others, adding that the disease is similar to smallpox virus and can result in a rash that leads to red bumps on the skin.
If somebody has it, it is not like COVID that you contact within a short period of time. It is contacted from person to person or face to face through droplets, whether coughing or sneezing, with prolonged contact, not within seconds like COVID. It is as a result of prolonged contact, human to human, face to face, that we can contact it. We will have headache, we will have general body weakness, muscle weakness, and we will have back pain. Back pain will always be there. And later it will progress to having, pebbles, vesicles on her face, on the scalp, rupturing like scalp. You understand, and spots, exudating spots, on the body.
To implore Nigerians, most especially residents of the state and its environs, to report any suspected case, affirming that the Osun State government is always proactive on issues that have to do with the health of the people, among other developmental policies of the government that are masses friendly. Oluwa Tobiloba Odunuga for Dateline.
That report concludes Dateline on OSBC TV for today. Thank you for watching. It was produced by Timi Tope Abdul Karim. The production assistant is Abdul Jalil at DBC. Babatunde Bolatito is my name. Good night.